Hello, I'm BX Toycat and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be answering the inevitable questions that come out every time an update happens, and that is people asking, Toycat, so TU27 just happened, what about TU28? When's it coming out? What's it going to include? Will it be a bug fix? And today I'm going to be hopefully answering as many of those questions as I can based on what we know from previous updates, and otherwise I'd very much appreciate a like on the video if you do like it. It helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do want to see more stuff like this. Anyway, let's get straight into the video then, shall we? So let's quickly clarify what TU27 was, because a lot of people say it was just, a mini update just to introduce the Greek mythology pack, but if you don't know, it did bring in a bunch of new creative-only blocks, which is kind of interesting because they were just available through modding before, and it also brought in quite a few bug fixes. For the 360, it was just 2 bug fixes, but for all other platforms, it kind of combined 2 bug fixes in one. And what's really significant about this to me is, unlike TU19, where they released bug fix after bug fix after bug fix, I believe it was 3 or 4 in total, this update, in the first day after it, so they released an update for the 360 2 days after the TU25, because there was a massive, renaming save glitch. They managed in 2 days to fix something like 10 separate bugs, and then in the next 3 weeks since then, they've only done 2. So I imagine they just didn't have many bugs to fix, and that's really, really interesting, and that ties into their whole test team that they actually acquired recently between TU19 and TU25. And I reckon that will tie into our first question of, will TU28 be a bug fix? And honestly, usually it's, the bad thing to bet against bug fix, but I don't think so. Obviously, that's not 100% guaranteed, but given that, like I said, in 3 weeks, they only added 2 more bugs, unless there's a major one that's discovered at some point, which usually it doesn't happen that way, then I don't imagine there'll be a bug fix, because usually, the tiniest bugs that get discovered between the last major bug being fixed and the next update, they just bundle in there with the next update. So TU25, even though it was a feature update, it did bring in a few bug fixes that they just didn't bother fixing, because most of them were actually pretty small and affected very few people, so it wasn't worth rolling out an update for everyone. So, yeah, that's kind of the deal right there, and that might be the case of TU28. TU28 might just go straight to being the next, texture pack trial or whatever, or just being the next full-on feature update. So, the next update is probably going to be a feature update, but, if they release more DLC before then, or if they, find a massive game-breaking bug, which is very unlikely at this point, then that would happen too. So, to kind of summarize on TU28, I do think that it will be a feature update. Even if it's not, though, I guess we're just talking about TU29, but at this point, if the next update doesn't take more than 4, 5, or whatever months, and they don't release more DLC, then, or at least DLC that requires a trial, then that means that will be that. But either way, let's talk about the next big feature update and what it might entail, because honestly, examining the last trend, the trend that 4G have been following, it's really been destabilized by these last 2 updates, because before those, ever since the launch of the game all the way to TU14, it was just a matter of the next update would always be 0.1 forwards. Then TU19 brought us 3 updates from the from the PC4s, like triple the size of any other update, and then this most recent update brought us like a third or a quarter of an update, which is just, a really tricky thing to work out. So, you can assume either that they just brought us half the update because it was such a big update, or you can assume they're jumping the update system altogether, but regardless, I think that means 1.7 features are going to be the first ones they look at when they're thinking about the next update. And I think based on the fact that this last update took them 6 months and was mostly cosmetic blocks, a lot of that work went on behind the scenes. I think that's fair to say. I don't think they just spent, 6 months being like, how do we get these stained glass blocks to work? They're not transparent. How do we do this? I doubt it was anything that crazy. What I imagine a lot of the work went on was behind the scenes stuff for future updates, or for, what we won't see just yet, and they just wanted to get an update out this summer, so they released a lot of the things they could, which happened to be a lot of cosmetic stuff. Not only does it make sense in theory that they wouldn't spend 6 months working on cosmetic stuff, but if you check the game files, there are a lot of blocks in the texture files that, although they're not officially working and they might not be textures in all the texture packs yet, they are sat in the game files, and that does send very strong hints that they want to have a lot of 1.8 and 1.7 features in the next update. Of note, all the new blocks required for new biomes, and even the new structure that comes with the biomes, the water temple, are in the game files. All the new flowers are there, the red sand, the red sandstone, all of that stuff is actually set in the texture files for the game right now. It's not, officially done, of course, but it is, it's in the texture files, which isn't something they've done before. Usually when they update the game, they didn't include the future updates texture files, which does hint that at some point in the update, maybe they were working on a 1.8 update, or maybe, they're just doing this now for some different reason. But, there are very strong hints that they've been working on new biomes at some amount, and, if you were to include new biomes, the rest of the update isn't actually too much. Because I was looking this up recently, I was like, 1.7, although it did include new biomes, which are massive, it wasn't that big an update as far as other features are confirmed. And I decided to check it, there are only really 3 other major features from 1.7 we don't have yet. So, even if the next update's not a micro update, but, kind of not, it doesn't include 1.8 features, let's say, it's just, TU28, and it comes out, and let's make up a date, 3 months from now, because because they're doing micro updates, then what it could just be is new biomes, new potions, and then new fishing, because besides all the new blocks that go in the new biomes, most of the 1.7 features we actually have a decent amount of so far. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that could be a total possibility, and I really do think that's one of the more likely ones, because the last couple updates we had have both been, small updates. TU28 was just Alex, new achievements, and a few other small changes. TU25 was just the cosmetic stuff. Maybe they're gonna try and release stuff with, more kind of frequency, and, getting into gear, if that required a small update after a long time. But if they can get this frequency thing right, I think it'd be cool to have a smaller update every 3 months. Like, imagine in 3 months we get, the next half 1.7, then in, the next 3 months we get a little bit of 1.8, then 3 months after that we finish 1.8. I think that'd be a better system than waiting, let's say, 9 months and just getting all of it at once, because, it's always cool just to play around with more stuff, get it into the system, then play around more. Or maybe you guys disagree with me, but I think one of the other possibilities is to see the rest of 1.7. The other one is that they just go, all out and include a bunch more 1.7, a bunch more 1.8, or maybe even go all the way to the end of 1.8, all in one update. It's hard to really tell right now, but like I said, the fact that they've got all the stuff needed for new biomes in the game code, and that it's probably the most requested feature, especially after these last 2 updates, and that they've given us the very, very, very big hint that they've put the acacia wood and the dark oak wood not only in the game files, but in the creative menu for us to play around with. It's such a strong hint that I don't see it going away. So the next update, new biomes is a big thing, and if you're going to include new biomes, the rest of 1.7 isn't too much of a stretch. Whether or not it goes to 1.8 is really hard for us to say, but yeah, I'm really excited for it regardless. It's so hard to know much about a release date, especially, again, they've had such an erratic schedule on this thing. If I had to guess, though, because I know a lot of people are going to ask one anyway, just like, so when do you think it's coming out regardless? I would say probably at some point closer to the end of the year. Let's say November, maybe even December. Maybe they want to go for like a 2-update-a-year schedule. Maybe, even if it's a 3 or 4 month update, that still means like late October kind of time. I reckon we'll be hearing something in the, October time. I don't know whether it'll be, close to the update or it'll be a couple of months out. But we'll hear something, that's that 3rd, 4th quarter of the year, I reckon, personally. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope it helped you out in some way. Please do like the video if you did like it. It helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like it. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. And I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.